Creative Brain Candy, by creators for creators.
All right, explanation.
Why was my phaser order countermanded?
Sir, the Enterprise redesign increases phaser power by channeling it through the main engines. When they went into antimatter imbalance, the phasers were automatically cut off.
And you acted properly, of course.
Thank you, sir. I'm sorry if I embarrassed you.
You saved the ship.
I'm aware of that, sir.
Stop competing with me, Decker.
Permission to speak freely, sir?
Granted.
Sir, you haven't logged a single star hour in 2.5 years. That plus your unfamiliarity with the ship's redesign, in my opinion, sir, seriously jeopardizes this mission.
I trust you will nursemaid me through these difficulties, mister?
Yes, sir, I'll do that.
Then I won't keep you from your duties any longer, Commander. Yes, Doctor.
Aye, sir.
You may be right, Jim.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Smoking and Drinking in Space. This is a sci-fi podcast from a couple guys who think they know sci-fi. And this week we start the summer of Star Trek off with the movie that brought Star Trek to the big screen and back into the general consciousness. It's 1979 Star Trek, the motion picture. Yes, this week we're starting to get sauced. But first, he's the grumpy old doctor to my man whore of a captain. It's James. How are you doing, James?
Damn it, Jim, why is Rob still on this podcast?
And he's the weird pointy-eared logic machine that wants to be a computer so bad. It's Rob. How you doing, Rob?
I'm doing pretty well.
You know, that's actually pretty accurate because you probably only get laid once every 7 years too. So,
That was low.
but probably accurate.
Oh, what's happening around
changing
CBC?
the title of the haiku to fuck you, James and Jason.
I can't wait for that haiku. This week around Creative Brain Candy, the Drunkonomics guys get political. The Bad Gamers Anonymous Bunch review yet another first-person shooter. The Canadian podcast Spoiler They Die got canceled. And the Simply Stogies.
No, they didn't.
Simply Stogies has a big announcement on the 1st. So also, if you're a content creator and interested in joining a media cooperative that focuses on growing your numbers and your knowledge, head over to creativebraincandy.com and click that apply button at the top. Also, Rob still doesn't have a cooking show, so fuck off, Rob.
Yeah, where's your cooking show, Rob?
Dude, I posted some cooking stuff the other day.
That's not a show. That's you posting funny food memes off the internet.
Dude, look, my show is my show. I can do whatever the hell I want. I don't tell you how to post like cigars and phallic symbols on your channel. Don't tell me how to post food on my
phallic symbols on his show.
Wait, are you saying that phallic symbols are cigars and cigars are phallic symbols? Is that what you're trying to say?
Maybe you do like to put long round things in your mouth.
He's got you there.
He does, but it's all right. His mom likes that too.
And besides that, I had my on-site reporter go ahead and post a picture yesterday at about 10:17 p.m. He made a mean batch of popcorn.
Are you referring to the picture of Jason in front of his TV screen with Star Trek: The Motion Picture title page up and a thing of popcorn?
Possibly.
Jason, did he ask you to post that as part of his shitty, non-existent cooking show?
No, that would be a negative, Ghost Rider.
Oh, well, it looks like the pattern's full, motherfucker. Stop lying to everybody and just say you don't have a cooking show. Just say it.
No, because that's not true.
That was me getting prepped to get sauced.
Well, that and then earlier today at about 7:30 p.m., my other reporter posted that they want to rename the capital of Ohio to Flavortown. more
one,
food related stuff.
Number one, I am not your reporter.
Oh,
Number
yeah,
one.
you are.
Number two,
Yeah,
I
you
am
are.
all for renaming the capital of Ohio Flavortown. Number one, it's Ohio. And number two, it's Flavortown. Let's fucking do this.
Okay. I don't know of anything good that comes out of Ohio to begin with. And so naming something to Flavortown in Ohio just, continues the bad.
Speaking of bad, Spoiler They Die got canceled. I don't know if did you guys catch that?
No, they didn't.
Every Thursday, Spoiler They Die until they get canceled, which is probably very soon.
Rob, you got any news for us?
Yes, I do. Let's see. Let's start with some Disney news.
Let's start it.
Yeah. So Star Wars Celebration has been canceled for this year. Surprise.
Did you want to see my shocked face?
It probably looks just like everybody else's shocked face. They saw
Yeah.
it coming a mile away.
Yeah.
Yeah, because everything was canceled.
Everything.
But they've canceled all of it, and it's been rescheduled for 2022. Same time, 2022.
So that kind of implies that they weren't going to have a celebration in 2022.
Yeah, they were.
2021. Right.
Or well, no. So they don't have a Star Wars Celebration every year, and so
This was just a special year where they were going to do another one for some reason because, Star Wars fatigue wasn't a thing.
no, not
Right.
yet, not at all.
I'm kind of curious what they were celebrating this year, other
Yeah, I don't
than, the
Obi-Wan, maybe. I don't.
well, the new one
Man,
came
I'm
out, but they had Star Wars Celebration last year that gave all sorts of
Yeah.
previews, and I mean it was focused around the Rise of
The
Skywalker.
new movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
The new last movie.
So I was
don't know,
wondering
maybe-
what they were going to focus this year's.
Mandalorian.
But they did that last year,
yeah.
too.
I don't know. I don't know. Apparently, it wasn't enough to warrant just postponing or going online like they are with Comic-Con. So
Well, here's the
Apparently-
thing. The big news
apparently,
out
they were
last-
just looking for extra money.
last year, the big news was Baby Yoda, right? The child. That was the big thing with Star Wars last year. You could talk about the Rise of Skywalker all you want. It doesn't fucking matter. Like, Baby Yoda stole the show. And they kept Baby Yoda under wraps. Nobody knew about that until
The show.
until the show came out, right? I mean, like, they're still behind on toys because they were like, we don't want to spoil this by having toys ready. So everybody shut the fuck up. Like, even Werner Herzog's like, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen. I love the Baby Yoda. I don't know how he sounds. Somehow I went into a Mel Brooks. It doesn't fucking matter. So what I don't think they had anything like the Baby Yoda to not celebrate this year at Celebration. So why were they going to do so? I couldn't understand. I couldn't wrap my head around it last year when immediately after the first Celebration, they were like, oh, there's going to be a Celebration 2020.
Yeah, I thought
I'm
it
like,
was
I'm not-
weird too.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not going. That's just stupid. I have no desire to go. So I won't go in 2022 either, FYI.
I don't know. It depends on what they've got going on in 2022. I might go.
What would it take? What would it take for you to go?
It would take, if they release Kenobi and Kenobi looks actually good and Kenobi is the focus for 2022, I would go to that because
But
I am
Kenobi
looking
coming
forward to
out next
Kenobi.
year? Well, I am too.
Well,
They'll
it's
probably
supposed
fuck it
to
up
come
in
out next year,
SJW.
but
They
Okay.
were also supposed to start filming right about now.
yeah.
Well, they were supposed to start filming a while ago, and it got
Well,
pushed.
yes.
yeah, because they were
it
like,
keeps getting
"Scrap."
pushed. So-
Kathleen Kennedy's like, there's not enough SJW in here.
I don't know if that's the case, but
Get it in here. We need Kenobi to be a woman.
You know, it's funny you brought that up because my next article pigeonholes right into that.
Yeah, it's called
Good-
a segue, Rob. You
Good
could've
segue.
just used it.
Good
Yeah,
segue.
thanks.
All right. So next thing is here a few days ago, none other than James T. Kirk himself posted a gender swap picture of Captain Kirk from the original
Reposted.
Cinders.
I've seen
reposted.
so many of these pictures lately. What is going on?
Yeah.
I don't know, but his response was Pretty good. He
I'd
said,
fuck me.
I'd do me.
Yeah, that sounds
do
like Kirk.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of funny.
I would too, though. I'm just saying, I've seen the picture. Female Captain Kirk's pretty hot.
It looks pretty good.
So
And
I've
the picture's
seen-
in Discord there.
I've
So.
seen Cloud from Final Fantasy Remake redone as a woman. I've seen all of the Twin Peaks characters gender swapped. I haven't seen the Kirk one yet, but yeah,
There's Kirk, there's Spock, there's Bones. I'm trying to think if there was anybody else. Was there a Sulu? There's a whole slew of these, man. I've seen.
So where's all this coming
Luke?
from? Is there a new app
Leia,
out that
Han
gender
Solo?
swaps?
Yeah, there is.
Well, what's it called? Because I'm kind of
I don't
curious
fucking
now.
know. I don't know. Look, do you want the Russians to have everything?
I don't
I'm
know.
sure it's an app put out by the Russians who just want to fucking, fuck with us and get your information off your phone. Stop downloading stupid apps that do shit to your face.
But that's what I do.
Well, you're just helping Putin. You're a Putin helper. You're like one of Putin's little elves that run around and help him.
Okay. I just like doing things to my face.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I don't either. What else you got, Rob?
Do you run around with makeup on at home?
What he does
Don't judge me.
with or without
I'm
the
not
camera
kink
on.
shaming. Look, man, I don't kink shame. I'm just asking. I'm just trying to get a feel, man, for what you do when you're not recording status with us. Like, are there panties involved? Are you tucking?
Don't judge me.
Could we post a picture of that on the Discord?
We're not allowed to. That's considered
Not
Yeah,
allowed to.
Kat tried that earlier.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah. All right. So next one also has to do with motion picture news. Look at that. News having to do with Star Trek. Amazing. There is
Wait. Were you waiting for a pat on the back?
I was.
But why? This is just what you should
Good
do.
job.
every
You
show.
did your job.
Thank you.
Right.
I just patted myself. Appreciate that.
Fuck.
So there is a theory, and I don't know why nobody thought about this prior to this. There's a theory out there that Picard, Star Trek Picard, episode 9, basically retconned the motion picture. In that there's a theory out there that V'ger came from the ancient race of androids or synthetics that are outside of the galaxy.
I think that's a stretch because they were not only outside the galaxy, but they were outside of the galaxy's dimension. They were from a different dimension.
Correct.
Well, so?
Well, I'm not sure if you understand how space and time works.
Look, just because they're in a different dimension doesn't mean that because they said that
Rob, how many dimensions are there that you know
They
of?
said that Voyager 6 went into what they thought was a black hole back in the day. And they were insinuating that it was a wormhole. Well, maybe it wasn't a wormhole. Maybe
Well,
it was
actually,
a portal to a
did you
different
watch-
dimension.
Did you watch the movie? Because they went into a wormhole.
Well, not only that, but
Well, yeah.
V'ger came back to Earth. How did it come back to the proper dimension?
Right.
Maybe they put them in the proper dimension.
But how
Look,
did they do
Decker-
that? They needed somebody from this dimension to open a portal in Picard in order to do that.
No, they needed somebody to open the portal when they needed the help, not to.
Wait,
not-
when they needed the help to what? Open the portal?
No, when they would come and help other synthetics when they needed the help, and that's
Okay,
what the
but-
portal was.
Well, that's great and
That's
everything.
not to say that they're not able to do it.
What?
Who says
Then
that
why
they
wouldn't they
couldn't
do
it?
that? Why wouldn't they just do that then?
Why would they do that? They didn't know that there were synthetics here until they got the phone call. Hello.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Well, they put that phone call there for the previous synthetics, right? Okay, we're revisiting Picard again. Let's not do that. This is supposed to be the news segment.
We're revisiting Star Trek again.
But this isn't news.
No, this is news. This is a theory that's
Well, no,
out there.
But that's not
It has to.
but that's not news. When was the theory created and put out there? Was it in the last week?
This article was written back in March. So it's
Nothing
not
like striking while the fire's hot, Rob.
Look, dude, I found this when it had to do with motion picture stuff, and we didn't cover it back
Yeah,
then.
no.
So
Hey, I got you.
it's still news. It's still valid. It's not like it was
Sure.
like March of like 3 years ago.
No, I understand. March of this year.
I still think it's
Still
a stretch.
news.
Maybe.
And it's a stretch. Yeah, it's a stretch.
I thought it was a little interesting. So anyway, do we have a pod crawl?
Well, geez, I fucking hope so. I hope something
He's
in
just
this.
trying to get the fuck out of the new segment like right now. Where's the pod crawl? Play it, goddammit.
Let's do this.
We can call it, I don't know, say a pod crawl? The pod crawl! Pod crawl! Pod crawl! Pod crawl! Excellent! Insert it deep! Pod crawl! Kind of like a space suppository full of information.
Is it bad that a movie confuses the audience immediately by playing music with a blank screen, causing the projectionist to get yelled at for no reason? This film is off to a shaky start.
Yeah, I thought
but
that was
start
off.
it does, premiering brand
thought
new
my
theme
couple
music
was
that the
bad.
Next Generation series will plagiarize the shit out of. We see 3 Klingon Katinga-class starships. Wait, what the fuck is a Katinga? You Star Trek nerds are weird. Anyway, 3 ships are heading to a giant space cloud, and it must look menacing because they fire some photon torpedoes at it. Photon torpedo. I need a better agent. Moving on, the Klingons have changed their look, adding some fashionable forehead ridges to complement their giant eyebrows and cultural distrust of dentistry. Observing from a distance is a Federation call center where the dress code is business pajamas. They get a distress call from the Klingons, but their estimated hold time is longer than the Klingons had. Fortunately, the call was recorded for quality assurance, and they forward the recording to Earth. Earth is freaking out. It's been a long time since they have had a space thunderstorm moving in, so they call up Captain Kirk to see if he can fuck it into submission. Kirk knows just the ship for the job, and quickly commandeers the Enterprise for the mission. The Enterprise has just been refitted with sleek new fins, a new paint job, and a brand new temperamental engine that doesn't quite work yet. Oh, and it also fucks with the transporters, turning people who use them into goo. Just a few wrinkles to iron out. Kirk gets a good look at the ship as Scotty takes him on a 10-minute tour of the outside of it while shuttling him to the ship. Once on board, Kirk breaks it to the current captain, Decker, that Kirk will be taking over. Oh, and you are also being demoted. Okay, thanks, bye. Bones is the last to arrive before the ship heads out, and he transports in looking like a disco hobo. A clean shave and shower later, McCoy comes to the bridge rocking V-neck pajamas and looking like a shaven disco hobo. The Enterprise heads out, and during its first warp jump, the graphics effects guys decided that the practical effects guys weren't going to have all the fun, so they create a wormhole, eat a few mushrooms, and go to town on the stretch effects, creating a whole new term, rightfully called the wormhole effect. Decker saves the day since he's familiar with the newest inner workings of the ship, and Kirk tries to come to an understanding with him that he appreciates his knowledge and input, but if Decker steps out of line he will pimp slap him back to the academy. At this point, the only Beetle left to join the reunion is Spock. As luck would have it, Space FedEx has just dropped him off fresh from cosplaying a hippie on Planet Woodstock. On the trip to the Enterprise, Spock slipped into his Ren Fair costume, and he heads to the bridge to request his old jerb back. Kirk reinstates him as the smart guy on the bridge, and Spock heads down to engineering to fix shit, making Scotty's presence in this film meaningless. With the engines fixed, the Enterprise finally hits Warp 7 and heads to the Space Hurricane. Once there, Kirk tells everyone to just hang back and chill, don't scan anything, because scanning upsets space hurricanes. The Space Hurricane sends a lightning bolt over to check things out, and in the process fries the sexy Dalton that Decker constantly makes googly eyes at. Nobody but Decker really seems all that upset that she's gone, and another anonymous skirt fills her seat. After the initial probing by the Space Hurricane, Kirk decides the next course of action is to head inside the storm to see what's in the creamy center. In a scene that takes more time than the outside tour of the Enterprise, they get another view of the graphical effects department's visions after dropping a tab of acid. Several generations later, they finally make it to the center of the Tootsie Pop where they see the Space Hurricane's butthole. But there's an intruder. In Sexy Dalton's shower is another Sexy Dalton. Only this one is a fembot. Wearing a miniskirt and fuck me pumps. Decker still constantly makes googly eyes at it, her, whatever. The fembot's purpose is to observe and record, but not to interfere. Wait, no, that's the Watcher. Anyway, Spock thinks she still has Sexy Dalton's memories stuck inside her, so Decker is tasked with using his powers of googly eyes to reach the inner Sexy Dalton. Meanwhile, Spock decides to visit the inside of the space hurricane butthole and then mind meld with it. After getting shit back out, he tells Kirk that the entity, named V'Ger, is basically a child looking for its place in the universe. Granted, it's a child with vast stores of knowledge about the universe, but still a child. When space hurricane V'Ger finally reaches Earth, it calls to its creator. When the creator doesn't answer, V'Ger throws a fit and sends probes out to destroy all life on the planet. Kirk tells V'Ger he can't have dessert if he doesn't pick up his toys, so V'Ger calls his bluff. Kirk, Spock, Bones, Googly Eyes, and Fembot head to the center of V'Ger where they find that V'Ger is actually the Voyager 6 probe launched by NASA 300 years earlier. All it wants to do is tell Daddy what it learned in school that day, but Daddy is too busy reading the newspaper and isn't listening. So Decker, who wants to interface with the Fembot very badly, decides to adopt V'Ger and listens to his report. V'Ger is so happy it consumes Decker and the Fembot, becomes blue light and disappears. Kirk, Spock, and Bones make it back to the Enterprise. Kirk has Uhura send a message to Starfleet that Decker and Sexy Dalton have run off together, and roll Kirk telling the helmsman to go that way. Credits.
All right, we're launching the summer of Star Trek with Star Trek: The Motion Picture, and this is the movie that actually brought Star Trek to the big screen. It brought Star Trek back into the mainstream. I mean, it was on in syndication for a while, and it still had a pretty rabid fan base at that time too. I mean, there were conventions even back then that focused on Star Trek, but it wasn't until I think the motion picture that it got back into the popular lexicon.
What I didn't realize was that this movie was a porno.
What?
It was a porno. Yeah. So you had 4 minutes of shit porn at the beginning, and
it was longer than that.
No, I timed it.
That was only 4 minutes?
It seemed like forever, didn't it? Yeah, it was 4 minutes. It went from 6, let's see, I actually wrote it down. Amazing, huh? 16 minutes and 22 seconds to 20 minutes and 22 seconds of movie time.
Yeah, that seemed longer than 4 minutes.
It sure did. Now, not to be outdone, because the director wasn't done there. He added 4 minutes of scenery porn from the time that they went into the butthole to when they got probed. Right. So he he says, "Hey, go 500 meters, and then come up to 1,000." Well, from that time until the probe showed up, was 4 minutes of stuff. And I fell asleep.
Yeah, nobody cares. So
I was tired.
This movie came about because of Star Trek Phase 2.
Right.
Couldn't get started.
Right.
Well, not necessarily. They were in production for Phase 2, but they scrapped Phase 2 in lieu of this because they saw that it wasn't, it was Close Encounters of the Third Kind. They saw that a science fiction movie could actually make it that wasn't Star Wars.
Yep, that's exactly it. So all of these guys were still under contract for Phase 2. And FYI, they hated the uniforms as much as we did.
What uniforms? You talking about the brown sacks?
The pajamas. The pajamas.
Brown
God,
pajamas.
I hated those fucking costumes.
They're so terrible. And in fact, they said they wouldn't, they would come back for 2 if they got different uniforms. That was it. They were like, we're not coming back unless you do something different.
Spoiler, the shirts were reused from the motion picture in episode 2 or
Wrath of Khan.
Wrath of Khan.
Yeah, but they had jackets on top of it and
they had
actual
jackets
trousers.
on top of it. Yeah.
So they had an actual uniform.
Not they saved the shirts and used them as undershirts.
With like a fucking space age belt buckle.
Yeah. The only fucking costume.
That was not a space age belt buckle. That was their Power Ranger medallion.
The only costume that I liked in this movie was Kirk's at the beginning, his Admiral uniform. That was the two-tone. Yeah.
Really? Because the only costume I liked in this one was V'Ger's.
I liked it.
You liked V'Ger's costume?
Oh, hell yeah.
Or the Fembot's costume.
Yeah, the Fembot.
probe?
What's her name? Ilea.
Oh, I'm sorry. V'ger's probe.
Yeah, Ilea.
Yeah. No, it wasn't Ilea.
Persis Kambata was her name. She passed away in 1998 from a heart attack.
Yeah.
Sad.
And that was
super hot.
after she had a
Super hot.
coronary bypass surgery in like the 80s when she was super young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She must have had a heart defect of some sort.
Some sort. So this is the biggest movie she's ever been in. Just FYI, I want to spend some time here on Persis because I feel we were robbed of her beauty way too early. Super hot. Star Trek: The Motion Picture was the biggest thing she was in. The last movie she did was in '88 called Deadly Intent. I'm hoping she showed her boobs in there because I might go watch it.
She did. I tried to find some.
So I just want to point out at this point in the show that in the 25 minutes that we've been recording so far, James has shown that he has done more research so far in this show than he has done the entire time he's been on Satis.
No. Star Trek.
No, he hasn't done any research. This is just his regular consumption of Star Trek stuff.
Yeah, there's no
research.
There's
He's
no
just pulling this
extra
straight
research
out
for
of
this.
his head.
Yeah,
it's straight out.
Yeah. She was also in the pilot episode of Lois and Clark, for you Lois and Clark fans out there. So here's the thing about this movie. This movie was pretty contentious between Gene Roddenberry and what the hell's the guy's name? Livingston, Harold Livingston. He was the guy who finalized the screenplay.
Right.
It got to the point on set where they were getting rewrites every 2 hours. One from Livingston, and then 2 hours later, one from Roddenberry.
Well, they started production of the movie without a third act.
Yeah.
That was being written as they were filming the first 2 acts.
Well, you know how these studios are. Like you said, they saw that Close Encounters of the Third Kind could make a ton of money. And they just wanted a piece of that pie. They weren't worried about putting anything out that was coherent. They weren't worried about having a cogent fucking thought. They just wanted to get it out.
Well,
so they're
mission
like, we've got these guys in
accomplished.
contract for phase 2.
Yeah, this is yeah.
Like let's just do this.
You know, I will give this thing props for launching what we know as Star Trek now. As far as movies and things like that. However, this is one of my least favorites of the six.
I think it's out of the 6. It's right in the middle. It's like number 3.
I'd probably put it around 4.
Nah, I wouldn't go that high.
I don't know.
No, yeah,
I would probably
actually,
I think I would put it 5.
Wow.
I
was going to say
really?
5.
Yeah, 5 out of the first 6. It would probably be 5.
The only one that I think is worse is the God one, Undiscovered.
Yeah, 5.
Yeah, that'd be 5.
Yeah.
What does God need with a starship?
Yeah.
We'll get to that. But this one I think falls, and I'm sure we'll do the ranking later, but this one for me falls at 3. Kind of middle of the road. It's not bad. It's not great. Did you know, I think it would have been better if they would have tied it in with the old series a little bit more. For example,
it is kind of abrupt. Yeah.
That William Decker was supposed to be the son of Commodore Matthew Decker from the 1967 TOS episode, The Doomsday Machine.
No, I remember Commodore Decker, but no, I never put those two together. No.
Yeah, because they didn't mention it. Like, it was in the script, it was there, and they just never did anything with it. It was just dumb. This movie went so far over budget.
Oh, yeah.
Holy shit, this movie went over budget. Fucking Roddenberry, man. They decided after this one they weren't going to let him do anymore.
Oh, yeah, he was kicked out.
Yeah, they're like, get the fuck out. Thanks for your IP.
When did he finally get back into Star Trek? Was that
Next Generation?
Next Generation? So he didn't have a hand in the next 3 movies?
I'm sure I'd have to go back and look. He may have been a consultant on some of these movies, but it wasn't until the Next Gen and when he got back in, and even then he kind of got kicked back out. And it wasn't until he died during production of the 2nd or 3rd season of the Next Generation where they went, man, we should probably really kind of try to stay true to what Roddenberry's vision was. Because then you get all like, well, we don't want to trample on the dead kind of thing.
Right.
But while you're alive, we don't give a fuck. Thanks for your IP.
Yeah.
So with this movie, the story is thin. The story is real thin. And I think
that's why they had so much porn.
I think they tried to, like you said, I think they tried to compensate with really flashy visuals, fan service. I mean, the brand new fucking Enterprise looks amazing.
Yep.
The set design in this movie was fantastic. The costume design in this movie sucked balls. But everything else was really good.
Except for that one costume.
It was
hell, even
for the 70s.
Well, even Nichelle Nichols didn't like the costume. She's like, that was not what Uhura would have worn.
That's not what anybody would have worn.
None of them liked them.
Yeah.
None of them liked the costumes. They bitched about it, and they had it put in the contract for the next one. Like, if we're going to do any sequels, we're not wearing this shit again. Because they had a hard time getting in and out of the costume.
Well, yeah, the boots and the pants were all one piece.
Right.
Yeah.
So they hated it. They didn't want to do it. They only did it because they were still under contract for phase 2. Once this movie was done and the phase 2 contract ended, if they wanted a sequel, which obviously they did because this movie made some money, they got it. They got new uniforms, which I think honestly look a lot better.
Yeah,
but this is par for the course for the 70s. Like you even said in the pod crawl, hey, like Bones came in looking like a disco hobo. He had the fucking gold chain around his neck and fucking 3 buttons unbuttoned, looking like, hey, look, man, I used to be on a fresh from Club show.
54. Yeah.
Yeah. I used to be on a science fiction show. Come fuck me. And like, it just, this whole thing screams 1970s.
It screams 1970s trying to hold on to the 1970s, though. I mean, we were moving into the 80s.
Yeah. For sure. But you get that with the special effects. Now, look, I watched the high definition version. I'll just be upfront with that.
So did I.
I did too.
I think the
Thanks,
when you
Jason.
look at the graphics, when you look at the computer generated graphics, right? Like it's dated. They're all dated. But when you start to look at the practical effects and you look at the Enterprise and you look at the Klingon ships, they look really, really good.
The models were amazing. I will give them that. And I think even the computer generated graphics looked pretty good, even for, being as dated as they are. They're basically a bunch of fucking fractals that are kaleidoscoped together. And then they took some screenshots of some, oscilloscope shit, and they probably rotoscoped that. It's fine. The graphics are fine. I thought the visuals were really good in this movie. The music was really good. I mean, the fucking iconic theme music that the Next Generation stole the shit out of. I had forgotten that the theme to the Next Generation was actually the cinematic movie theme that they used in the first several of these movies.
Yep.
I think they did that for continuity,
Well, no, it was also the same composer.
Same composer, but I'm thinking he did it. Yeah, but I'm thinking he did it for continuity's sake, because at that point it was kind of like the handing the reins off type of deal, probably.
Sure. I mean, the first, 4... Had the 5th movie come out before the Next Generation did?
I think it came out right about the same time.
Yeah. So I guess the first 4 or 5 movies had come out at that point. So people were probably familiar with the theme music. So transitioning that over to the new television series that they were launching probably made sense.
Anybody want to guess how much this movie costs to make?
The budget was $44 million.
No, the budget was not $44 million, sir. The budget Roddenberry told the studio he could do it for $8 million, and then he went back in the middle of production. He's like, I need another $8 million.
It was $144 million in total, wasn't it?
$35 million was the final figure. The only one that went past this region was it wasn't until Generations. Star Trek 2 Wrath of Khan, $11 million. Search for Spock, $17 million. Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home, $25 million. Star Trek 5, The Final Frontier at $28 million. It wouldn't be until 1994 where Generations would cost more.
Huh. I thought the overruns were a lot more than that.
Well, it was double. I mean, the overrun at first was just $8 million.
Well, I know, but you think of a movie nowadays at $8 million and even double that at 16. I mean, that's a small indie film.
Well, I know, but we're talking in the 70s. I mean, $8 million in the 70s was probably, I don't know what, 20 million today?
Yeah, 20 million today. I mean, that's a fucking indie film.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. It ended at 35. So it ended at over 4 times that amount. You're looking at probably close to 100 million today for a movie of this magnitude. How much was the budget what the final budget for the 2009? That had to be over 100 million.
For which one?
The Star Trek. Yeah, no, for Star Trek 2009.
Oh, that had to have been over 100 million for the budget.
Well, that's what
the
I'm
budget
saying.
was 150 million.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's about right. If you end at 35 million in 1978, 77, whatever, there you go. I mean, that's probably close to 100 million.
Well, let's do some research on the fly and see what the inflation is.
I thought we were going to call the guys from Drunkonomics and have them figure it out.
Yeah, I don't have their phone a friend number yet.
No, I do. I just, I don't want to bother them on a Friday night. They're college kids, just out of college, whatever. Fun fact while we're waiting, the guy who played the Klingon captain, the last one that got blown out of the sky by the space hurricane.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody know who he was?
Wait.
Don't look. Mark Leonard, asshole. He played. He played Sarek.
Yeah.
He played Sarek. He's actually the first Star Trek actor to play 3 different characters. He played the very first Romulan captain in the original series. Then he played Ambassador Sarek in the original series, and then he played this Klingon captain. A little trivia there while we're waiting for research on the fly.
Yeah, so 1979, $35 million budget would have been around 124 million today.
There you go. So that's right in the right ballpark.
So yeah, you're looking at, mega blockbuster numbers here.
Yep. And did this movie make money? I mean, at the end of the day, that's really all the studio cares about. Like, if you're going to suck a bunch of money out of us, fine.
But you better make it back.
Right, but you better make it back.
And it did.
Yeah, did it make it back? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And, which is why we got Star Trek II, which in my opinion is probably one of the best sci-fi movies, if not just movies in general, ever made. I would put that next to Empire Strikes Back as, like, I'd have a hard time choosing which one's better.
Oh, yeah. So Wrath of Khan is by far my favorite Star Trek movie and probably one of my favorite sci-fi movies of all time.
We should wait and talk about that next week.
We will, because it's the summer of Star Trek.
Yeah, we're getting sauced, baby. All right. So we've got all the trivia out of the way. Let's talk about this movie.
I have a question. I have a question. We talked about contracts and things like that. Did Bones, did everybody have like a contract where they had to have certain amount of screen time?
I'm sure the top 3 did. Yeah.
Yeah. Because the reason why I ask is because there was that whole thing where, Bones comes on the bridge and then he leaves and then he comes back so he can get probed and then he leaves again. And then he comes back and then he leaves.
But he did that on the series too.
The original series?
Yeah, I know. I haven't watched the original series.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Why are you on this show?
I've watched bits and pieces of it.
Okay. Well, this is what he used to do. Like, him and Kirk are friends.
Right. I understand.
Legit friends.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, hang out after work, have some bros, or have some brews, a couple of bros trying to get laid at the bar. Friends.
And he acted as Kirk's advisor along with Spock. I mean, basically he and Spock
not
were...
during this part, not during this movie.
Yeah, absolutely during this movie.
Absolutely he did.
Well, yes. But not when he would come on the bridge and then leave. He never had any words. He'd show up, he'd shake his head and walk off.
But he would be on the bridge
pushing.
to offer advice if needed.
Yeah. And he did offer advice. He said, Jim, you're pushing.
No. That was later on. I'm talking about when they were doing.
Wait. When you say later on, do you mean later than the beginning of the movie when he was asking about getting the engines to go?
No,
before Spock even came on board.
That
and he
part
said,
was earlier. What I'm talking
Jim,
about
you're
is
pushing. Oh, okay.
No, what I'm talking about. Yeah, what I'm talking about is when they're going to go into the into the hurricane. He objects to it and he leaves. He comes back while they're still going into the hurricane, and he turns around and he leaves.
Well, he's old. Maybe he had to take a piss.
Or maybe. Yeah, that's true.
It's hard to get those pants off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Ilya figured that out.
Out of all of the shit in this movie, that's what you're nitpicking is fucking bones on the bridge.
You want to know what else I'm nitpicking? How the fuck did he know the name of an ensign after being on the ship for less than 20 hours?
Who?
Bones.
Which ensign?
I don't know.
Well,
what the fuck are you talking about?
It was when V'ger probe came out of the shower. They had a security guy, and Bones comes in and he says, "That'll be all, ensign so and leaves. And Bones had been on the ship for like.
All right, so just let's just.
Is it the same? Is it the same crew? Because they insinuated that it was an all new crew.
It's an almost all new crew. They did say that. Decker says it's like 90% new. Here's the thing, man. Number one, it's not that far out of the realm of possibility where I think this ship only holds 300 people. I think.
So he had a meet and greet with 300 people in 20 hours?
Yeah, the Constitution class isn't just a huge ship.
Right. So if it held 300 people and 90% were gone and 10% stayed, that means what, 30 people?
Which is the main cast.
It's not outside of the realm of possibility that was one of the 30 people that Bones knew. Number one. Number two, he is a command level officer. He is the chief medical officer for the fucking Enterprise. Okay?
Was he though?
So, well, yeah, he got drafted, remember?
Oh, okay. So he ended up getting drafted and became.
You want to know what he was doing every time he was walking off the bridge?
He was checking the rosters.
He said, yeah, he was checking the rosters and memorizing their fucking names. That's what he was doing, Rob. It's explained. Okay. God damn, perfect. I don't understand.
I love it.
Again, you just nitpicked the dumbest shit.
I don't
get it.
Look, that's what caught my attention in between the porn shots when I fell asleep.
Fucking sleeping?
Yes, I was tired yesterday.
Fuck me. I don't.
So you slept through half the movie is what you're saying.
No, my blood sugar was a little high. And so like I started to fall asleep. So I paused it when they started to go through the butthole stuff and that 4 minutes. And then the wife came in and goes, "Are you sleeping?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm just taking a little nap. I need to get started."
Just a little nap. I'm a little tired.
Oh my God.
I'm a little tired, honey. It's okay.
So then I started back up.
Yeah. All right. Are we done with story time with Rob?
I fell asleep when they were going through the scenery. I woke up when they were going through the scenery. Not much happened. I mean, that was like 20 minutes of the show. So,
okay. I think that's a legitimate complaint. I really do. I think a legitimate complaint is the fan service that they gave to the Enterprise.
I don't know that's a complaint.
It was boring. And there wasn't a lot, like, if you want to do that, I'm all right with it. But there was very little exposition. There was very little dialogue at all between Kirk and Scotty. And it was just music played over them looking at the Enterprise. And it looked great. It did. But I think you can cut that down. I think you could probably cut that in half.
Yeah. I mean, there was no way that in actuality you would fly past the ship, come back over the top, come over the backside, come back to the other side and dock.
Yeah.
That's just not, that doesn't make sense in real life. You would because short trip.
Any captain will want to do a once over of any ship, spaceship, naval ship, or otherwise, and do a once over like that. Pilots do it. Sea captains do it. I would imagine then space captains do it as well.
But you would think that if that was the case, they should have said something. Let's see what she looks like.
Why?
Or,
I think it's common knowledge, isn't it, Jason?
I think so. All right. So
I just think it's you.
The crew
Shut up.
complement for the Constitution class refit in the 2260s was 430.
There you go. So that's even more people he could have known. 43 people.
Okay.
So there you go. That's how he knew. And I think if you're going to complain about things, the blank screen at the beginning, like even I forgot about that. And I'm going, what is wrong with the fucking DVD player? Why can I hear something and not see anything?
I know that.
I fast forwarded a little bit to make sure. I thought maybe my because I started with my file, which wasn't a high def version, and I thought it got corrupted. I was like, oh man! So I went ahead and I stopped it. I went ahead and stopped it. Got on Jason's. And it was like, okay, it's got to be good on Jason's. And then it's like, it's doing it again. It's like, what the fuck? And then I started seeing like little white dots. And I'm like, oh, son of a bitch.
So I didn't even notice the white dots. I started it and I hear music and I look up and it's blank and it's black. And I'm like, the fuck? So I let it run a little bit and nothing comes on. So I like exit out and I'm like, well, shit. So I restart my TV and my Apple TV. I just restart everything.
You were thinking you had sound and no
yeah,
video.
I thought the video feed had stopped because it happens very rarely that sometimes it'll hit a glitch and the video just stops transmitting. So I restart everything, go back into the movie, restart it, and it's doing the same thing. I'm like, damn it. So I've got a bad rip on my Blu-ray. So I'm about to go find the Blu-ray disc and re-rip it to my media library. And I was like, wait. So I swipe down and there's stuff that comes up on the screen. And then I start fast forwarding and then the Paramount logo comes up. I'm like, motherfucker, why did they do that? That is the dumbest shit.
Nope.
How many people do you think went out and complained?
Tons.
It's
gotta be tons.
The audio, the video's not working.
Were there a lot of Karens running around in 1979?
I don't know, but think about the VHS distribution in the 80s.
Oh, geez.
And then the DVD distribution in the 2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So complain about that.
At least with Star Wars, they put a little blurb at the beginning saying there's a scene where there's no audio. It's normal, for the what?
For Ryan Johnson's piece of shit.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. All right.
Yeah.
Then you could complain about Captain Kirk basically demoting himself on purpose from Admiral to Captain to piss off Decker just so he can be a captain again. Like, number one.
Did he actually get demoted or did
he didn't demote himself. He was still an admiral.
They called him captain.
They called him captain, but that's tradition on a ship because he was the commanding officer.
Yeah.
I guess. I guess.
No, that's how it works.
The only time they would
Decker
call him admiral is if he was in charge of a fleet. They would continue to call him admiral.
Well, he was chief of operations.
No, I'm saying in charge of a fleet at that point
so
in time. If there was multiple ships going out.
Yeah, if there were multiple ships on the same mission and he was in charge of all of those ships as a collective, he would be the admiral of that.
I want to go back and I want to see if they've stayed true to that over the years, starting with the last episode of Picard and Admiral Riker. I want to start with that and see if they call him captain, because I'm fairly confident they called him admiral. Neither here nor there.
There was a giant fleet.
He gave Decker a temporary demotion, a temporary lowering of rank to commander.
Right. Because he didn't want any kind of.
No, he didn't want.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. So again, like when you think about the Kirk character, I think that's a little bit out of character, especially from the TV series. Maybe not so much the movies, because I think in the movies they kind of made him more macho on purpose for some reason. But for me, that was a little bit out of character for him. He was so worried about being the hero and being in command and not being questioned that even like Decker basically had to point out to him, like, look, fucko, you almost blew up the ship. Like, you don't know your shit. But I do. He
realized that. He admitted that. And said, look, I'm relying on you because you do know the new ship better than I do. I'm relying on your knowledge and expertise on this new ship to keep us going. Just make sure you stay in your lane.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just too. I don't know. Maybe I have a nostalgic view of who Kirk was, and that this just doesn't fit with that nostalgic view. I don't know, but I didn't like that. I didn't. Okay, I've always had a problem with them seeing outside of the ship, and I have an even bigger problem with them seeing outside of the ship of a ship that they don't own.
Oh yeah. Well, see, you talking about the Klingon thing?
Like, so they see the Klingon ship.
I'm thinking there was a probe
outside the Klingon ship.
I think it was
probe.
I don't know. I was thinking there was some sort of probe.
Oh, you're talking the
telescope.
listening station. Yeah, I was curious about that too. So, especially whenever they're watching the listening station getting destroyed.
Okay,
by
so
V'ger.
yeah, how do you have an external view of a station when it disappears?
Right. I was wondering, so V'ger
Because
destroyed
the
the
dude
station.
that was trying to outrun the pulse wave or whatever, the plasma wave, he got overtaken and disappeared. You would think any camera that was out there, the same thing would happen.
Well, yeah, that was my point. Is V'ger destroyed the space station? Why didn't it destroy the camera that's sending this feed of V'ger destroying the space station?
It wanted everybody to know what he could do.
And so I had a problem with that. I also had a problem with how thin the characters are. Now, these are characters who are established, who had a rabid fandom.
Well, it's been a little while. Maybe they were a little hungry.
And that's just it. It had been a little while.
That's why they were a little thin.
I hate you so much. And there's no substance to these characters. Well, for example,
they're starving.
I hate
they're
you
starving
so
actors.
Fucking much, Rob. I swear to Christ. For example, Kirk, he takes over as captain, and in the first 3 minutes, somebody dies. 2 people die because for whatever reason, the transporters that weren't working 4 minutes ago, they suddenly thought were working.
Yeah.
And I don't understand what happened in that 4 minutes to make anybody think that the transporter suddenly started to work. But
I can tell you what happened is they put Yeoman Rand on the fucking transporters.
Yeah, don't put fucking Yeoman Rand in fucking charge of anything except get me my goddamn coffee and bringing me my goddamn iPad. I guess, and maybe showing her butt. But at that point, well, she looked a little worse for wear there, Yeoman Rand.
Just look rode hard and put up wet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that. Which, I mean, I don't know. I mean, if she's not getting work in Hollywood, she's going to conventions and all these guys are oogling her. I guess I see it. I'd slut it up too. But anyway, I have a huge problem with that. And then for Kirk to just brush it off, tell them, send my condolences to my family or to their families.
Yeah, but
that's it. And I get that there's a bigger threat out there. I get it. But again, he's a Starfleet admiral at this point. Life is supposed to be precious to him. And I get he's not Picard. I understand that Picard greater than Kirk. But Kirk should have shown a little bit of fucking class and maybe had a moment of silence or something. I don't know. He just was like, hey, how do I get to my fucking shit?
Well, first, you had that reverse. Kirk better than Picard. But
no.
I mean, it's easy to get those confused. Kirk's better than Picard. But I mean, he as a captain, a Starfleet captain on the missions that he was on for so long, I mean, he has to detach himself at least a little bit from his emotions on situations like that. Otherwise, it's going to fucking eat him alive.
Yes, I know. I get you have to compartmentalize. I get that.
I mean, you could tell he was upset and that it did affect him. But he had a job to do. No, I think it did. I mean, say what you will with William Shatner. Maybe he didn't play it as hard as he should have. But yeah, you could tell
I like
that
the Shatman. I like his acting.
I do too. But maybe he didn't express it at that point as hard as he should have. But yeah, I got that he was actually affected, that it did affect him, but he had a job to do. He had a greater mission to accomplish. He needed to move on. He needed to get shit done. They were on a very tight timeline.
But then he put the ship in danger on purpose. Like he was told by Bones, He was told by Decker, and he was told by Scotty. So he's told 3 times, like, we need to run fucking simulations.
They didn't have time.
Let's go. That's bullshit. There's not a Starfleet captain worth his salt that would do that, because the ship and his crew are what he's supposed to protect above all else. So taking 10 minutes, which is literally what it took, fucking 10 minutes to run a goddamn simulation.
No, they said it was going to take longer than 10 minutes to run that simulation. It was going to be hours. He said, we don't have hours.
And he ended up having to take the hours anyway, didn't he?
No.
Spock fixed it.
Came down and fixed everything.
Yeah.
Because apparently Scotty can't
Deus
fix
Ex,
shit anymore.
Deus Ex Machina Spock, you know?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that he didn't, like, if he would have just waited, Spock would have shown up and fixed it, and it would have been the same amount of time anyway.
But he didn't know Spock was coming.
It's because Spock met him on the way, you know.
And then let's talk about Spock. I'll just keep this
exactly
bitch fest going. And I like this movie, everybody. This movie is very good in my opinion. Go watch it if you haven't seen it. The graphics are a little dated, yeah, but I really, really like this movie. Let's talk about Spock. He's not excited to see his friend.
He's Spock.
That doesn't matter. I am now.
Spock
and
just
always
got done.
will be your friend.
Yes, but Spock had just got done getting off of Vulcan, where he was supposed to be purging all of his emotion. So he was still in that I've got to purge all of my emotion mindset. In fact, he would have gone through with that ceremony had V'ger not interrupted it.
Oh, and let's talk about that. What a mighty fine thing to have happen is that all of a sudden Spock gets psychic abilities.
Yeah, I got nothing with that.
Like, that wasn't a thing in the fucking original series at all.
I mean, they had the mind meld and everything, but yeah, I don't know how V'ger reached out across the cosmos and touched Spock's mind.
Why was he looking for Spock's mind? Why was he molesting Spock's mind?
I don't know. I got nothing.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Radio waves.
They needed to get Spock into the fucking story somehow. I don't know.
They were
they're just lucky he wasn't wearing goddamn aluminum foil.
Yeah. They got to that and they're like, so where's Spock? He's on a different planet. Well, how the hell do we get him?
He's on Vulcan.
He's psychic. Let's just go that way. Really? Yeah, sure. Why not? Well, how do we show that he's psychic? Put him in Renaissance clothes. It'll work.
And I want to jump ahead here because I know we're not short on time. We can go as long as we want, but I think the bitch fest is about over anyway. I think we've talked about most of the things I want to complain about.
So the one thing that I do want to touch on is all of the ancillary characters from the series, all the secondary characters from the series that they barely touched on. I mean,
Uhura,
Chekhov,
Sulu,
Chekhov, Uhura, Sulu, Scotty. None of them got more than half a dozen fucking lines in the movie.
No,
and
Major Barrett didn't even get anything. She got like a little thing like, hey, I'm a doctor now.
Yeah. Well, she had probably more screen time than Uhura.
Uhura was on the bridge a lot. Oh, fun fact about Uhura. The earpiece, they didn't have time to make her a new one. And so they found the ones she used from the original series that were still in storage.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Lucky. So there you go.
None of the secondary characters, they just glossed over them. And I think that hurt the movie.
Okay. This movie is a glorified episode. Like it just is. I hate to say that it is. It even ends like a fucking episode.
Well, they took the pilot from the phase 2 and modified it for this movie. So technically, it is a glorified fucking episode.
I would have liked to seen this in a TV series. I think this works better in a TV series where you've got, you can have 2-hour pilot.
I think kind of Star Trek in general works better as a TV series.
But if you take out all the porn shots and everything that they had, all those extra shots, it was only about a 44-minute.
You know what? I'm going to disagree with you. That's inaccurate. I'm going to disagree with you.
About right.
No, it's not. Because I think Star Trek works as both a television show and a movie. And I think when you look at movies, or at least it has the potential to work as both a television show and a movie. I think if you look at Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, you look at Into Darkness, and even the 2009 reboot, remake, whatever you want to call it, it's episode 6. Star Trek 6, Undiscovered Country. Star Trek 4, people love that for some fucking reason.
Because it's awesome.
I'm not one of them. No, it's not. I'm not one of them. That is my.
You don't like the
second to
whales?
least.
Oh, it's fucking awesome. It's
That's my
awesome. I
second
can't
to
wait
least
to get
favorite
to it.
movie.
That's my mom's favorite Star Trek.
I can't.
right
You know
there.
why I can't wait to get to that? Because then I can just say double dumbass on you, Rob, all episode long, and it'll actually make sense. So double dumbass on you.
So, okay. So Wrath of Khan actually relates to an episode.
Yep. Space Seed.
Undiscovered Country actually relates to later episodes in The Next Generation.
Yep. And in fact, Worf is in episode 6.
Right. Is he? Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Because his mom is pregnant.
He actually plays his grandfather. They retcon that he's his grandfather.
He's his grandfather?
Yeah, his grandfather was a advocate or whatever the fuck they called it.
Oh, okay. So, yes, I think that Star Trek can work as movies if it relates to a series that's going on at the same time.
I don't know if that's accurate. I don't. I think it can build off of it for sure. I think Star Trek 2 does that, but they also, when you make a movie, you have to make it for all audiences. And that includes audiences that may not be familiar, or at least overly familiar with the original content, with the original.
I think James did
seed,
drop.
No pun intended, from Space Seed. So you have to have a lot of exposition. You have to have a lot of explanation. You have to have a lot of things that tie it together. Sure. But it also, you don't actually have to have that. You don't have to have the knowledge of it, at least. You don't have to have the building blocks there, because the building blocks are the characters.
But I think Star Trek movies are weaker whenever they try to fit a story within that confines of a couple hours. I mean, there haven't been that many great Star Trek movies because they're all basically episodic movies. They're not trilogies or series of movies, so they're not telling a larger story. I think that Star Trek is better whenever it tells a larger story. And even in the episodic series, there were still kind of threads between some of the episodes. And I think some of the better episodes were some of the two-parter episodes where they had 2 or 3 episodes to tell the actual story.
I guess. Here's why I disagree with that. Because I don't think there was a good Next Generation movie. And when I say good, there was nothing that lived up to Wrath of Khan. There was nothing that even came close to Wrath of Khan. None of it. I thought Generations was poorly written. I thought Resurrection was just terrible.
I thought First Contact was
I thought First Contact. Yeah, I thought
First Contact was okay. And I like that they've used that in later series, like Enterprise. They used it in Enterprise.
I liked First Contact, other than the whole Borg Data thing that they had, the whole.
Yeah, why is the Borg trying to fuck Data?
Yeah.
Because she's lonely.
Don't give a shit. She's a goddamn Borg queen. I don't know. Anyway, I really like this movie. It is thin. The plot's very thin. I don't think the characters have a lot of substance. A lot of the characters get glossed over, but it does have a larger meaning. It is, hey, we are growing, we are evolving, and maybe our evolution doesn't include just us. Maybe it includes something outside of just us.
Well, and another thing that I really like about the movie was that it brought that curiosity, that exploration, or that need for exploration back to the series. I mean, that was one of the themes of the movie, was that, Kirk wanted to get back out there. He was not a fucking office jockey. He was too curious to be stationed on Earth. He needed to get back into space and discover shit.
Yeah, I think, but that's a theme with Star Trek overall, is exploration. I think in most, even with Voyager or in DS9, where they stayed on a space station, they still had the wormhole that they could explore the Delta Quadrant. So exploration is always a big thing. And I think that kind of also, in the episodes and the movies that I like a lot, there's a lot of self-exploration as a species, as a person, that goes on. And this movie had, that was the overarching theme. But I just feel like it wasn't touched on very much.
Rob does a lot of self-exploration and touching.
With my left hand.
Right. That's not the stranger for you.
No, it is.
No, it's not, Charlie. It's fine.
It is.
All right, final thoughts.
Did you ever beat that mouse?
You're a smart mouse, Algernon.
I really like this movie. I think it's a great way to kick off the summer Star Trek. We're getting sauced. If you haven't seen this movie in a while, I invite you to rewatch it. Make sure you get the high def version. The music is incredible. I think the practical effects are incredible. I think the set pieces are incredible, and I think the uniforms are fucking terrible. But there's nothing better than Captain Kirk being Captain Kirk.
Yes, it was really cool to see the fucking band get back together, and I echo the sentiment perfectly.
I need you.
Because it was. I think this is a good kickoff to the Star Trek motion picture, Star Trek on the big screen. It gets better up until the fifth movie. And then the fifth movie kind of tanks, but then it recovers with the sixth movie. So I'm looking forward.
I think the sixth movie is really good.
Yes.
Yeah.
The sixth movie is probably number 2 for me.
I would agree with that. Yes. Yeah. Do we want to do a pre? Let's do a pre. Like, let's rank them.
Yeah, let's do that, and then we'll see how that holds up.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Charlie, you want to take notes
so
that we can remember this?
Shut your... take notes. I thought you were like, take notes of what we do is right, type of deal, not take notes of what it was. I thought you were trying
so
to put
fucking
me down.
defensive.
Oh, man. Well, because every other word that comes out of his mouth, especially when he starts it with Charlie. I figured he was cutting me down.
I did with the Charlie. I cut you down with the Charlie, and then I move on to, hey, you want to take notes so we can remember where we rank this. All right.
Perfect. All right. So, number 1.
Let's go 10-1, and let's let Charlie go first.
10-1?
Yeah. What's your 10th? And then you'll go to your favorite.
There's
10.
Oh,
Christ.
We're moving past
yes.
Oh shit. Oh, you're gonna have to come back to me. I was only thinking about the 6.
All right. Well, the worst movie out of the bunch for me is Star Trek 6 or Star Trek 5, The Final Frontier.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Ooh, really? You like Insurrection better than Final Frontier?
Next. That's 9.
Wait. Oh, god damn.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going in there too.
There is nothing worse than Spock having a brother out of nowhere. It's kind of like Spock having a sister out of nowhere, Discovery. And then fucking out of nowhere, like, oh no, God's on this planet. Why is God on a planet?
What does God
I never
need
understood
with
that
a
from the
starship?
beginning. What does God need with a starship? Like, in the way that only fucking the Shatman can deliver that line. That's the worst movie for me. I wouldn't watch that ever if I didn't have to for this podcast.
So number 9.
For me, number 9?
Yeah.
You said Insurrection.
Yeah, probably Insurrection.
Okay. Number 8.
The Voyage Home.
Oh my God. Number 7.
Nemesis.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
6.
Fucking really? What's his name? What's his nuts? His fucking Shinzon? Fucking
Tom Hardy. Yeah.
Yeah, Tom Hardy is Picard Jr. No thanks. No, that's terrible. That's terrible casting. 6 for me is probably Generations.
Okay. 5.
First Contact.
Wow. 4.
I'm not a fan of those movies. I'm trying to tell you. That would be Voyage Home.
You already did Voyage Home.
Oh no, Search for Spock.
3.
3 would be the motion picture.
Okay. 2.
2 is going to be Undiscovered Country, and number 1 is Wrath of Khan.
All right. All right, Charlie, go.
Hold on just a second here.
He's still taking notes. Either that or he's just whispering to Algernon. Hey,
you don't have to take your shoes off to take notes.
No. I was
only 10.
Still trying to. Yeah, I was still trying to write down Crowley's. Jeez, man. All right. So 10, Final Frontier for sure. let's see. Number 9. That's a toss-up. I'm going to go with Nemesis.
Wow, Nemesis haters. Okay.
Oh, man, it's so bad.
I didn't really... Well, okay. I didn't like it because Data died, so fuck off. Let's see. 8. 8 would have been Insurrection. That sucked. 7. I'm gonna go.
That's insightful.
Yeah.
Insurrection. That sucked.
Yeah, no, Nemesis. Yeah, Insurrection. It sucked. 7. I Search for Spock.
I'm all right with that. I'm all right with putting that at 7. I really am, because I didn't think it was that good either.
It was. Yeah. It was. Yeah.
Like, if I'm gonna fuck a Mr. Savick, it better look like, old school Kirstie Alley, and not whoever they got to replace Kirstie Alley. So yeah, I was disappointed.
Let's see.
Oh, who was that? Yeah, we'll get to it whenever we get there.
Hot. Yeah.
All right. So number 6, I would say was. I'm gonna go in motion picture.
Okay.
It was just boring for me. There wasn't enough. There was enough. Too many.
Yeah, Michael Bay didn't direct it. We got it, Charlie.
I don't need that much. Michael Bay's a little much, man. Let's pull it back a little bit. Number 5, I'm gonna say Generations, and then Undiscovered Country would be 4.
Jesus,
wow.
That's high for that's.
Well, no,
wow.
I'm sorry,
Hot
not
take.
Undiscovered. Sorry. Voyager number 4 or Voyage Home. Sorry.
Yeah. All right.
Sorry.
That's
Voyage
better.
Home number 4.
That's better.
Sorry. Number 3 would be First Contact. I liked it. I thought it was good. And then Undiscovered Country and Wrath of Khan.
Okay.
However, that if you would have asked me that when I first watched all of these, I would have said Undiscovered Country first, then Wrath of Khan, because that ear thing freaked me the hell out as a kid.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, those earworms.
Fucking nightmares for days.
Yes.
Ridiculous.
All right, so my least favorite is going to be Insurrection. I fucking hate that movie. That was the dumbest fucking Star Trek movie. That would have been a shitty fucking Star Trek episode, much less a Star Trek movie.
But immortality, damn it.
Oh, who gives two shits? It's not
Right?
it's
Dumb.
fucking stupid.
Dumb movie.
Number 9, I'm going to give to The Final Frontier because I did not like that movie at all. Number 8, so this is where... Number 8, I'm going to give to Star Trek 3. I wasn't all that fond of The Search for Spock.
Attaboy.
Number 7. So number 7, I'm going to give... God... I'm gonna toss up for number 7. I'm gonna put Generations.
Make it a tie.
I'm gonna put Generations and Nemesis at number 6, tied for number 6.
There you go.
So number 5. What do we got left?
You got Voyage Home, First Contact.
Number 5, I'm gonna go First Contact. Number 4, I'm gonna go Voyage Home.
Yeah. How's that in your top 5?
I love that movie. It's fun.
Whales, man.
Oh my God.
Actually,
Computer?
no. Number 4, I'm going to go Motion Picture. Number 3, I'm going to go Voyage Home.
I hate you.
Number
right.
2.
I hate you so much. You did that on
So
purpose.
you got Undiscovered and
number 2, Undiscovered. Number 1, Wrath of Khan.
Oh my God. All right. So hot take. Here's a hot take. I'm not going to reorder anything, but here's a hot take. If we were including, because we're not, just FYI, everybody, we're not including the 2009 reboot, remake, and we're not including Into Darkness, and we're not including whatever the other one was, Where No Man Is Gone.
Beyond.
Yeah, there's no Kelvin
Beyond.
timeline movies in SoST.
If we were including the Kelvin timeline movies, 2 out of the 3 would be in my top 5, possibly my top 3, and one of them would be down at the bottom with all the other trash.
They would all be towards the middle bottom for me.
Into Darkness would be tied probably with number 1.
Oh my God.
With Wrath of Khan.
Oh my God.
I loved that movie so much. I thought they did that. I thought they did that so well. I really like that. And I like the 2009 reboot is just a fun fucking ride. You've got new Spock. You've got old Spock. You got fucking Bones being Bones. I thought it was a great thing. I would definitely be in my top 5.
It's not a Star Trek movie. None of those 3 are Star Trek movies.
The last one's not. Beyond, whatever the fuck it's called. Yeah, no, that's Fast and Furious in space. The other 2 are definitely Star Trek
action movies in a Star Trek setting.
I have no problem with that. None.
I do, because
Wrath of Khan is.
Wrath of Khan is not an action movie in a Star Trek setting. It is pure Star Trek.
Sauce for the goose, Mr. Savick.
And?
Sauce for the goose. I can't wait. I can't wait next week, man. Next week.
I know. I can't wait either. In fact, I am going to take your advice. I'm going to rewatch Space Seed because it's been a while since I've seen that, and I want to familiarize myself with it. But I am going to watch Wrath of Khan and Into Darkness against my better judgment.
Yes, I will do the same. I will watch
so that I can
Seed.
compare how they did Into Darkness with Wrath of Khan. I want to see the juxtaposition fresh.
Yes, I will do the same thing. Yes, absolutely, 100%. I am for this. Join us, Rob, on this quest.
I will try. I will do my best. I am gone all next week, so it's going to be rough. It's going to be rough trying to get one movie in, much less two and a half, 2 in an episode.
All right, this goes without saying, but I have to ask: is Star Trek: The Motion Picture more sci-fi than 11/22/63?
Fuck
let me tell you something about Star Trek: The Motion Picture. Okay, Star Trek: The Motion Picture was the first movie that had a McDonald's Happy Meal tie-in promotion. That alone makes it more sci-fi than 11/22/63. Never mind the spaceships. Never mind the lasers and the phasers and the fucking photon torpedoes and the fucking hurricane in space. It was all about the Happy Meal.
Was it really the first fucking Happy Meal tie-in?
Yes, it was. Yep, absolutely.
No shit. Oh my God.
Yep.
I had no idea.
I wish I had a Happy Meal that had that shit in it. You know how much money that's worth?
Oh, I can only imagine.
Oh, fuck. There are nerds everywhere that fucking just came in their pants at the thought of it.
Rob, you got a haiku for us?
Yeah. This one's titled V'ger's Lonely Life. All right. V'ger needs Decker. She wants another baby. She's gone tomorrow.
God damn it.
Well fucking done, Rob. Yeah.
Thank you.
Damn, I hate you.
That is the best haiku I've ever heard.
Your fucking
this one
permanent
is also,
name is Charly.
This is also got a little subtitle. It's Fuck You, Jason.
God damn it. Hate you so much. All right. So next week we are going to continue getting sauced as we talk about Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, 1982's Star Trek movie. What?
I went through all of these damn... you know how hard it was to get awards and we're not even going to do them? Fuck.
That's right. We do have to...
God damn.
Do we need to do awards? Nobody smoked. Nobody drank.
Oh, wait. Hold on a
nobody
minute.
smoked. Nobody drank.
Oh, I am giving...
The only player award would go to Fembot.
Or Googly Eyes.
My black lung went to V'ger's probe because she was smoking hot.
That's a stretch.
I'll allow it.
Head lush. Mine went to McCoy as he boarded the Enterprise because he looked like he just got done being on a bender.
McCoy always looks like he's
got done being on a bender. He looked extra sauced.
He looked like a dirty hippie that just got pulled off the street to fucking, perform medical things on people.
Yeah. I gave my player to V'ger's probe because, she had all the boys in the yard.
Okay.
And then Purple Hippo went to Spock when he mind melded with the giant Ilya.
Oh, you mean with V'ger?
No, the giant Ilya. That's what it was.
He mind melded with the thing in her neck.
Yeah, with the giant Ilya.
I believe her name was Alea.
No.
Ilea.
Sorry. Ilea.
Not Ilea.
Giant V'ger.
Fembot. That's why I just call her Fembot. Which, by the way, I'm very sad she died. It's very super hot. If we're given just awards to give awards, I give all of my awards to her posthumously because it'll be it's posthumously. And I just like to say that word posthumously.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think there's not going to be really much smoking or drinking. I mean, if you guys want to give awards during SoST, we can, but I was going to skip them.
Yeah, I'd say we skip the awards, man. We know who's going to be drinking. We know who's going to be fighting. We know who's going to be fucking. This is Star Trek.
I was going to give Khan my black lung next week.
I mean, basically, I would have given my player to Kirk the entire fucking time.
Right.
Even during the Next Generation series movies, because it's Kirk. He's the fucking player. In fact, whenever Alea came on as, not V'ger, the first thing she fucking said to Kirk was, "I'm celibate, so don't fucking try."
I'm taking an oath. My oath of celibacy is on record.
Yes. He has got a reputation across the fucking universe as fucking anything that breathes and has a pulse.
Why is he not our player award in perpetuity?
Because we haven't done a Star Trek movie.
Well, maybe we should change that now.
So we're going to replace honorary player from Imaginary 6 to Kirk?
Yes. That just makes sense. How many aliens has he fucked? All of them. The answer is all of them.
That's fair. We can do it.
All right, done. I'm all for it. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, nobody gives a shit. Motion passes.
All right.
Two things here. Oh.
So next week, we're talking about Star Trek II. With the assistance of the Enterprise crew, Admiral Kirk must stop an old nemesis, Khan Noonien Singh, from using the life-generating Genesis device as the ultimate weapon. This stars all of your favorites. It was directed by Nicholas Meyer this time, written by Gene Roddenberry and Harvey Bennett. So 1982's Wrath of Khan. Looking forward to it. This is, like I said, my favorite of all 10 of the Star Trek movies, and it is a classic.
Did you know Khan Noonien Singh had the Reliant retrofitted with rich Corinthian leather?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's a joke that only people of a certain age will get. I am one of them.
You think he took it to Paradise Island afterwards? Or Fantasy Island? Fantasy Island.
The plane. The starship, boss.
Oh, man.
Love tattoo.
You couldn't have that show on TV today.
No, but they do. And it's very vanilla. Very not. It's supposed to be a thriller or some kind of horror thing or something. It's bad. Don't watch it. There's no tattoo. There's no DePlane, boss. DePlane.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. Rob's our tattoo.
That's true.
Yeah.
But we're still calling him Charly.
Yeah, no, for sure. He's Charly.
Forever.
In perpetuity.
Oh, good. Rod left. Well, that's all we got this week.
I'm just waiting for you to read your shit. So
Our intro and outro music is Welcome Home by Cambo.
Mucus?
Did you say mucus?
Our outro mucus.
Outro mucus? That's gross. I think I just threw up in my mouth.
Podcrawl music is Snack Mix by Machette. If you like the show, please rate and review us on iTunes. You can leave us feedback on our Discord channel at smokinganddrinkinginspace.com/Discord, on Twitter at @Satis_podcast, or you can email us at smokinganddrinkinginspace@outlook.com. If you'd like to throw a few nickels our way, you can become a Patreon supporter by going to smokinganddrinkinginspace.com/Patreon. And be sure to visit Creative Brain Candy for more great shows and other creative works at creativebraincandy.com. For this week, I'm Jason.
So their away mission jackets doubled as potato sack race equipment.
Hey, Cat, Logan, STD's been canceled.
No, it hasn't. We'll talk to you next week. Yes, we do have a pod crawl.
Are you sure?
Well, it was queued up.
It wasn't written in March.
It was queued up. It was queued up.
It was queued up. It's not now. All right.
Maybe it went into that other dimension.
Oh my God. I wish you'd go into another dimension.
I wish you would shut the fuck up.